into law. Azimio has been complaining about this law, saying that it will increase the cost of living for Kenyans, criticizing the Kenyan government first for its approval. Right, the third phase of the postmortem for bodies recovered from Shakahola is set to end today on Tuesday, as pathologists conducted 22 more postmortems. So far, there are 9 bodies left at the Malindi Sub-County Hospital mortuary, which will undergo postmortem, after which the team will resume the exhumation of bodies left in Shakahola Forest. Government Chief Pathologist Dr. Johnson said the number of bodies increased after one follower died in police custody.
And we've performed a total of 22 autopsies. Of these 22 autopsies, by age, 7 of them were male, while 7 of them were adults, while 12 were children, and 2 we are unable to establish the age. As per gender, we found that females made a total of 22, while males were 8, and 2 of them we were unable to establish the gender due to the decomposition. Most of them were starvation, because we found that 14 of them were starvation, while 8 were unascertained because of the decomposition also. Finally, as per level of deterioration, all of them, 22, were severely decomposed. So they were very decomposed, I think because of the duration of time which have taken by the time they died up to today. So far we've performed a total of 87 postmortem in this phase. We are remaining with 9 postmortems, which we are going to complete tomorrow. After finishing, we are going to the field to see if we can get other bodies for exhumation. Then we continue with the process again. Initially, we are collection today, they are 96. Why are they 96? Because as we were doing postmortem, we found that 2 bodies had been wrapped in the same sheet. So this made them 95. Then 1 person died in prison. So that's what made them now a total of 96. That is all.
Right, the Deputy Governor of Siaya County, William Odwol, has survived an impeachment motion against him after the Senator's majority voted to keep him in office. The Senate Special Committee that was probing the impeachment of Siaya Deputy Governor William Odwol has recommended his removal from office over allegations of gross violation of the Constitution and abuse of office. In a 92-page report presented before the Senate plenary on Monday, the 11-member committee noted that some of the allegations leveled against Odwol were substantiated while others were not. The special committee found that the charge against the deputy governor on gross violation of the Constitution and other laws on the allegation of interference with the procurement process through acts of bid rigging was substantiated.
Are on very serious grounds, Mr. Speaker, of violation of the Constitution and the law. That in fact the governor himself, and I can tell that some senators who have spoken before me have not read this document. In this particular document, Mr. Speaker, there is an admission by the deputy governor himself. And those of you who know the law, they know the weight of an admission of an accused person is heavy.
This House has been sitting here discussing important motions, important issues, having the CSs coming here to discuss matters of national importance, but the minority move out or always go out of the House. They are now here, Mr. Speaker, just to kick out somebody because somebody said a certain county secretary was forced to resign.
Youth of Siaya to get opportunity to do business with the county government of Siaya. Where does he want the women of Siaya to get opportunities of doing business with counties, Mr. Speaker? You cannot, Mr. Speaker, allow such a deputy governor to continue occupying office, Mr. Speaker.
Of Siaya to run his office and making sure that the deputy governor of Siaya enjoys his constitutional right. We cannot make that decision on reports that could be either opaque, inaccurate, or deliberately written so as to confuse debate.
Mr. Deputy, then we can throw him under the gallows. No. And the law is very clear. Submissions have been made before the committee, in this house, and even in the Supreme Court in the case of Mike Mbuvi Songo, highlight the most recent case in the Supreme Court.
And that the Deputy Governor accordingly continues to hold office.
Right now, President William Ruto on Monday assented to the Finance Bill 2023 and the Appropriations Bill 2023 at State House, Nairobi. He also approved the supplementary budget for he defended approving the Finance Bill 2023 for warranting the additional spending by the national government of 22.9 billion from the consolidated fund. Present were Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, Speaker of the National Assembly Moses Wetangula, Speaker of Senate Amason Kingi, Attorney General Justin Muturi, and host of members of Parliament led by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, as Roifan Shikuku reports.
President William Ruto has signed into law the controversial Finance Bill 2023 amid plans by the opposition for renewed demonstrations against some revenue-raising measures and a court petition by Busia Senator Okia Omtata. The inking of the bill now symbolizes the effect of the new tax proposals tabled by the Kenya Kwanza administration. President William Ruto's signature follows Parliament's passage of the bill, which raises VAT on fuel products from 8% to 16% and introduces the Housing Levy Fund of 1.5% on employees' basic salary. The government targets to collect 83 billion Kenyan shillings per annum through the introduction of the housing tax. The two key proposals will have far-reaching implications on households across the country due to their effect on raising the cost of production and transportation of goods, even as they raise salaries by adding deductions to the pay slips. On fuel, the president assents mean that effective July 1st, Kenyans will part with an additional 10.26 Kenyan shillings per litre for petroleum products inclusive of petrol, diesel and kerosene. Ultimately, there is the introduction of new pay-as-you-earn tax bounds of 32.5% for persons earning a monthly gross income of between 500,000 Kenyan shillings and 800,000 Kenyan shillings, and the new 35% on 800,000 Kenyan shillings gross income. The Finance Bill 2023 was at the center of a huge debate, both within the National Assembly and outside, following a wide net of tax proposals that the opposition did not agree with. For Prime Edition EBN TV, I'm Roifan Shikuku.
Right, still on the same subject, where President William Ruto has defended approving the Finance Bill 2023 into law, saying the new tax law, with which incorporates the housing levy, will enable low-income earners realize their dreams of possessing decent houses under a government scheme. The head of state were launching the National Border Healthcare Scheme at the Kenyatta International Conference Center yesterday in Nairobi. They criticized opposition coalition Azimio la Umoja for its planned mass action against the new tax laws, saying the move will not address the economic challenges currently facing the country.
Housing ni program ya kulete bei ya nyumba ifikie mtu wa bodaboda anaweza kulipa mahali anaita kwake. It is also a right kwa katiba yetu ya Kenya kwa serikali kupanga vile wananchi wataishi in decent housing. Na hiyo kazi mimi nitakazana nayo. Nitafanya so eliminating VAT on all infrastructure around charging stations ambazo sasa we are going to roll out. Na hawa watu wananijaribu, nitawakalia ngumu kwa sababu Kenya hapana ya watu wachache. Si Kenya ni yetu sisi sote, my friend. Hata uweke sufuria kwa kichwa mara ngapi ama siku ngapi, bei ya chakula iweze kupungua. Tuambiane ukweli, pengine sufuria, pengine tupike nayo sufuria kwa.
Right, moving on to our next story, where former acting director of medical services at the Ministry of Health, Andrew Mulwa, has distanced himself from a letter sent by sacked Health Principal Secretary Josephine Mburu requesting KEMSA to vary the specifications of the 3.7 billion shilling mosquito net tender. He has to this end pointed an accusing finger at the head of the division of the malaria control program, Dr. Omar Amdin, instead accusing him of bypassing him in communications with Mburu, but Amdin has denied Mulwa's claim, saying he was copied in all communications to the Principal Secretary.
I forwarded a memo on advice from the head of National Malaria Program to the Principal Secretary then of the Ministry of Health, requesting her to forward a letter to the National Treasury to procure 12,616,883 long-lasting insecticidal nets. Chair, this memo did not pass, as you can see, is not signed by the head of program or of the National Strategic Health Programs, who is the head of department, or signed by me. So I never got an opportunity to have this memo pass through my office for processing. For some reason, physical, it's not telephone discussion. I physically had a meeting with him and informed him about the inconsistency, and we were in agreement that I write a memo to him, which I did. There was no single reason or motive for me to bypass him, and I told you, and I said, I never had a meeting discussing this inconsistency with the PS.
And clerk, I would like to have Dr. Nasila. What is the other name? Ganatra. To explain, to tell us about the meeting they had and what did they do, whether they actually briefed the PS, whether they did it in writing.
Right, with the advent of junior secondary school classes, a need for more teachers has arisen, this being one of the agendas slated for this year's Kenya Secondary Schools Head Association Conference that has kicked off in Mombasa County. An increase in capitation funds to schools has also been vouched for, as school heads are still in crisis despite the Ministry of Education releasing funds to schools a week ago. Secondary school heads have denied doing business with uniforms in their institutions at the expense of parents. Kenya Secondary School Heads Association Chair Ndimuli Kahi said no, the perception is not true, and no principal will want to turn his or a school into a money-minting trade by selling uniforms to parents. Speaking in Mombasa after a tour of the Sheikh Zayed Hall, where the 46th KSO conference is set to take place from Tuesday today till Friday.
Lakini kumbuka hiyo shortfall wakati huo ilikuwa tukizingatia ule mfumo wa 844. Hapa katikati kukaingia junior secondary, ya? Na hiyo junior secondary pia inahitaji walimu. Sasa unaona ile shortfall ya 116,000 wakati huo inakuwa overtaken by event.
Capitation remains the same. Much as it is the same, disbursement is not definite. Heads are left to run schools with almost nothing, and they sit on time bombs because you cannot control a hungry lot at all.
The last time the teachers had a CBA was in 2016, and then in 2021 we signed a non-monetary CBA, and then in 2023 the teachers have taken that cut. But we have faith in the president, so we are asking him to quickly ask the Teacher Service Commission to call the teacher leaders to start discussing a CBA so that it may cushion these teachers in this tough economic time.
Right. Yesterday, President William Ruto presided over the launch of Border Care, a capacity building and empowerment program for the sector's riders at KCC in Nairobi. The program is a big boost for border sector as it includes a 1-year free medical cover. Speaking at the launch, President Ruto said he has spent millions of his money to support border operators.
Tunaelewana? So, mimi nataka tukubaliane na nyinyi. And that is why niliuliza tufanye hii mkutano. Kwa sababu mimi nataka nyinyi na wale wengine wote ambao wako katika hii sekta, nataka tukubaliane vile tutafanya hii biashara muhimu ya bodaboda, tuondoe maafa, tuondoe na tupunguze ajali, na tupange hii biashara ikae ni biashara ambayo itasaidia hawa watu 1.8 million ambao wako katika hii biashara. Tumekubaliana? So, mimi nataka tukubaliane hivi. Ya kwanza, mimi nataka tukufaliane ya kwamba kwa sababu ajali inatokana mara nyingi ni kwa sababu wale wanaendesha bodaboda hawana leseni na hawajasomeshwa. They have no training and they have no license. Si ni kweli hapo? Tatizo kubwa ni kwamba watu wanaendesha pikipiki ya bodaboda hawajafanyiwa training na hawana leseni. Ndio tunapata ajali.
Right, moving on, President William Ruto presided over the inauguration of the Kenya Health Human Resource Advisory Council. The council seeks to accelerate the realization of universal health coverage. Leaders present included Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha, Kirinyaga Governor and Chairperson of the Council of Governors, Anne Waiguru, among other leaders.
Try and sort out the matter of universal health coverage, and we have been unsuccessful. Part of the reason why we've been unsuccessful is because there has been inadequate coordination between the national government and the counties. And in the process, we didn't create enough synergy, health being a very important function that is devolved, that at a policy level that requires consultation and coordination between the two levels of government. I am very happy that this time round we have managed to establish a very strong link and coordination between the two levels of government so that an important subject like health does not suffer. When we went out before the last election, we had consultations across Kenya. We had consultations specifically with health workers. I remember we had a whole day consultation with the health workers of Kenya from different sides. And the very important subject that came out was the disconnect between policy and practice, and what was happening to the whole space about health workers. Many health workers believed that they weren't getting a fair deal because there was a challenge of working, at the same time training, and who pays what, as Governor Waiguru has said.
Right, moving on to our next story, where the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Proliferation of Religious Organizations raided the Holy Ghost Coptic Church of Kenya in Kisumu and rescued 8 mentally ill patients detained at the premises. The victims, who were chained and locked up in cells, were taken to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital for counseling and treatment. Committee Vice Chairperson Senator Shakila Abdallah said more patients are believed to be locked up within the church premises, adding confirming that the security team has been tasked to secure the necessary orders and do a door-to-door search to rescue the victims. Senator Abdallah said it was illegal for the church, headed by Father John Pesa, to illegally chain and detain patients under the guise of praying for them to heal. The church, she said, has no permit to hold or treat patients, adding that the cells where the victims are detained were unhygienic.
Ile hali ambao hawa watu wamewekwa ni hali ambao haistahili. Wamewekwa kama wanyama, wamefungiwa makufuli kwa giza, wamewekewa ndoo ya kwenda choo, wanapewa chakula mara moja kwa siku. Ni kama hii ni shakahola ndogo.
Right now, the Kenya Tea Development Agency Foundation has donated a water tank to Mukulusu Secondary School in Shinyalu as part of its corporate social responsibility. The 8,000-litre water tank will increase storage capacity that will enable the school to have enough water and also supply to the surrounding community. The school was initially utilizing a 10,000-litre water tank, which will be consumed within 2 days, as the school, with a population of 450 students, uses 5,000 litres of water per day. Water is pumped to the storage tanks using solar energy from a 35 meters deep borehole drilled adjacent to the school. The principal of the school, Buire Alianda, thanked KTDA Foundation for donating the tank to the school, which has solved water scarcity challenges that they were grappling with.
We are happy to do this, having in mind incidences like what happened in Mukumu Girls. We know that schools need clean water, fresh water, and KTDA Foundation is happy to chip in. This is a tea growing area, and we like to ensure that the tea farmers profit in some way from the fact that they are growing tea.
We have had challenges in getting water because for us to get water, we've been buying, using diesel, but now we've got solar powered pump for the generator, and we've got a water tank to store the water. So some students come in, they find there's no water, they've got to go to the river and maybe fetch water for their purposes, both at school and even at home. So I'm told this water tank is going to supply water to their homes. The school has got very many challenges. One is the area of sanitation. If you can get some sponsor now that we have got water here to sink for us a toilet and maybe build for us a modern toilet for the girls. We'll appreciate a modern toilet complete with the flush units, the septic tank. Now that water is now available, is going to save that area. Our girls are having challenges in accessing sanitary facilities. We need about 5,000 liters per day. So that is a very big amount. That tank was storing a maximum of 10. So it could only store for 2 days. So the rest of the days we are having challenges. So with this, you see the period of storage is going to be extended.
Right, it is a new dawn for hundreds of former rustlers turned farmers engaging in farming on desolate lands in the semi-arid pastoral areas. This is after the government, through the Kerio Valley Development Authority, employed a new technique of demonstration plots at the Way irrigation scheme in West Pokot County as crops thrive, a move that is luring pastoralists to engage in crop production through irrigation, which will unite neighboring communities in Banditry area. The program is supporting 255 households in the area. Speaking at Sigor area, KFDA Managing Director Sami Naporos hailed the project as a game changer in the region, noting it is the foundation of peaceful coexistence, food security, increased literacy levels, and a vibrant economy.
Irrigation projects in this region of Way, and we are utilizing the water that we get in this region to do more food crops and to promote the issue of crops that brings sustainable development in the region. As a board, we are supporting the management to advance and do more acreage under food crop as a way to produce more food in the region. We do not want it to have the cases of drought, famine in this region, while we can utilize the water So I'm happy today to visit this Weiwei farm, which David here are doing, and we look forward to implement the same in other regions where we fall under arid and semi-arid regions. So mine is to encourage that we utilize the little water that we have. We should not be rain dependent.
Right, now let's head over to Mombasa County, where Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Nasir has ordered a crackdown on bars and liquor stores operating near education and religious institutions. The governor ordered that no bar or liquor store will be allowed to operate within a radius of 150 meters from any academic or religious institution within the country. Nasir was speaking at the Treasury Square outside the Mombasa County Assembly building after leading hundreds of procession to mark International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit trafficking.
Itakuwa na rehab center mbili, moja ya wanawake, moja ya wanaume, tuweze kuwaondoa hawa ndugu zetu kutoka kwa haya ambayo kwamba wako nayo. Mimi sitakuwa ni yule ambaye kazi yangu ni kupeleka lawama na kusema ya kwa wewe unatumia madawa ya kulevya na kutoa watu katika jamii. Kazi yangu mimi itakuwa ni kuweza kumchukua yule mwenye kutumia madawa yale na kuweza kumregesha. That is the role of government. Hawa wanastahiki kuweza kusaidiwa na gavana wao tayari ashaonesha njia ya kuwasaidia hawa. Sisi sasa tunastahiki na tunasema ya kuwa ni lazima wanasiasa hawa ambao kwamba wenye kuathirika kuweka tofauti zetu za kisiasa, kuweka tofauti zetu zote kando, tuseme ya kuwa tunaenda msafara pamoja kuweza kuwashika wale ambao wenye kuuza na kuleta madawa ya kulevya katika hii. Na mimi nakubaliana hapa, kuna wengine wameongea. The intelligence in this country wakitaka kujua wewe asubuhi umeenda wapi, umefanya nini, believe me, they are capable of doing it. Vipi hatujui mwenye kuleta madawa ya kulevya?
For Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, Eldo Walo, on Monday awarded Gor Mahia a City Hotel when he hosted the champions to a luncheon. The cabinet secretary challenged the club to work hard and have a clear focus of doing well in the CAF Champions League, as well as challenging the club's leadership to put in place structures to enable the team realize the much-needed growth.
From the bottom of my heart, the fans, we owe all of you a great debt of gratitude as a Gor Mahia family, or by extension community, Gor Mahia community for that matter. Let me also reiterate that this feat has been achieved through a collective effort. We cannot attribute this win to any single individual. So to all of us, I think we need to congratulate ourselves that we have done the Gor Mahia family proud by delivering the trophy as was envisaged or as was anticipated. But this again comes with challenges, because now you are preparing for the CAF Champions League. I would urge you to start early preparations, take a short break, then embark on early preparations. All human beings like you, isn't it? So if they did it, you people are also capable of doing it. Tremendous job. I'll give you 300,000. The technical bench, under whose stewardship and tutelage the players operate, I've got 500,000 shillings. The playing unit, led by Captain, my friend Philemon Utieno. In fact, Philemon is one guy we talk a lot with the once in a while. I've got 1 million shillings for him. And then the office, because a lot of logistical preparations, operational issues go in this campaign, and I'm sure, in fact, I would be surprised if they don't have gaps or holes. Whenever you run a league, then you don't end up with certain gaps here and there. So just to caution them a bit, a little resources to support in some of the areas, intermediate interventions they want to sort out. I also have 1 million shillings for them.
Right, and that is all from EBN TV News at 1. Thank you very much for making time to join us this afternoon. But don't go far, we have a lot coming up for you. Of course, this is the Azimio meeting at Kamukunji, and we are sure going to keep you updated on what unfolds over there. So stay tuned in. Remember to join Emmanuel Marwa at exactly 4 p.m. for the Swahili Bulletin. My name is Victor Enzobeli. Have a lovely afternoon.